As you're watching this video, I want you to pick up your hands as if you were holding the reins. Now notice how much tension is in your hands. Notice where your fingers are, where your thumb is. How much tension do you have in your upper body and your arms? Even as you did just this little exercise and you thought about holding the reins, it probably gave you a little clue as to how you do actually hold them when you ride. In today's video, we're going to talk about how just where you put the reins in your hand, what you do with your fingers, and how you hold them can actually affect the rest of your body. I'm Callie, I'm here with Ruger, and this video is actually the second part of one of our episodes here at our weekly show. And it's the second part because in the last video we talked about arm position, and these two really go together. We talked about demystifying some of the different things that riders are told as far as keep your hands at the withers or keep your hands in front of the saddle, and how to find the best place for how to hold your arms, how it depends on your conformation and your build, and why that really gives you the most effective position for your arm. Now we're talking about how to actually hold the reins in your hand. And what I'm going to do is I'm first going to go through a few of the ways that people often hold the reins, see if you can recognize any of these as something that you might do. So the first is holding the reins lightly on the tips of the fingers, and usually leaving the pinky or even the pinky and the ring finger almost off of the reins. This is often a hold that I see for people who want to be really careful about being sensitive and soft to the horse's mouth. So they just lightly hold the reins between their thumb and their first or second finger, and they ride with their other fingers off the reins, and they try to be really gentle there. The other way that I see the reins held is usually often out here on the fingers, but then with the fingers closed tightly around. And this is usually with a rider who maybe is a little bit more nervous or anxious or on a horse that's tending to get quick, so they want to make sure that they have a tight grip on the reins and that they're ready to go. Now, if you follow along with me and you make these same types of movements with your hand, notice what it does to the rest of your body. Notice what it does to my body as you're watching this video. So as I tighten my fingers here and I press down with my thumbs, notice how my shoulders rise a little bit, and I even got a little bit more forward in my posture. Now, if I let go and I even let my hands come here, I still got to stay a little tight between these two fingers, so I'm still tending to be a little bit higher and a little tight through my shoulders. Now, I'm going to show you a different way to hold the reins. Instead, I'm going to take the reins, I'm going to lay it so that the rein is laying about where my finger connects to my palm, to the rest of my hand. And then from there, I'm going to just close my fingers so that this joint stays relatively straight. So I'm closing my fingers around the rein, and I'm allowing my thumb to just rest lightly on top. Now from this position, I don't have to tightly squeeze the reins because I've brought the rein a bit further into my hand. Just that contact of the rein against my skin helps to create a contact that it keeps the rein in place. So the rein's not going to slip as I'm riding. It feels secure in my hand, but I'm not having to make a tight fist and a tight ball. So even from here with the rein in there, if I start to tighten my hand up, I can feel that tension, and you can probably see it come into my hand, into my wrist, up through my forearm, and as I'm riding, all of these joints are going to lose the fluidity of the movement that's necessary for good contact and for giving clear cues or clear rein aids to the horse. Now when I soften my hand here, I can immediately feel how my back is able to relax, my shoulder is able to settle down and settle back, and I have not only a more stable posture, but also I'm able to keep the rein in a good position, not having it slip in or out of my hand. Next up, I want to show you a little exercise that really illustrates the difference in whether we make a tight fist or whether we have a soft hand, and what that does to our balance and our stability through the rest of our body. And this is kind of a fun little party trick. So to show you what a difference it makes with how you're holding your hand, we've brought the cameraman out from behind the camera. This is Ken, cameraman aka Ken, who is going to help me demonstrate this. And I asked him to come out so that it might have even a little bit more impact about how this really does affect our stability, because as you can see, there's a reasonable size difference between us. So what I'm going to ask you to do first is just to put your hand out, almost like if you were holding a rein. And what I want you to do first is make a tight fist. So like curl your knuckles in, make a really tight fist. Okay, and then I'm going to give you a little push and see how stable you can stay. And you want to make a really tight, yep, like squeeze it hand. This is what a lot of riders do on the reins. Ready? Okay, so you stayed pretty tight for a little, but then I was able to find and move you. Okay, now I want you to just keep this last knuckle almost straight. Just softly close your hand. Yep, let your thumb rest on top. If you're holding a rein, okay, now I'm going to push again. Can you feel a difference?
Actually, I can.
So one more time, make that tight fist. Nice and tight.
Sorry.
That was a little bit of dramatic acting. I promise we did not pay actors for this video, this tutorial. All right. So again, go ahead and make that tight fist. Yep. And there, feel how quickly I could start to tip you off balance. So this again just goes to show that the amount of tension that we carry just in our hand, whether you're squeezing the reins and making a tight fist there to hold them, or if you position them and you close your hand around the reins so that your fingers can stay soft and that you're holding the reins more lightly, it makes a big difference in the rest of your body and in your balance and your stability. So here's my challenge to you. Find someone unsuspecting to do that little exercise with, and then ask them to do it to you so that you can feel from both perspectives what a big difference it actually makes. And then the next time that you're riding, notice how you hold the reins and try holding them in this slightly different way. I look forward to your comments. Go ahead and leave a comment down below.